Welcome along to the Singapore night race, where fittingly, as we've entered darkness in this part of the world 1 degree north of the equator, and 1,600 bulbs illuminate the circuit, one man in Formula One at the moment has stepped out of the shadows very much into the spotlight for the third race in a row. Charles Leclerc starts on pole position, waiting for the 5 lights to all be illuminated here in Singapore. It's lights out, away we go. It wasn't a hold for very long at the start. Leclerc gets away well ahead of Hamilton and Vettel, and then on the inside Alex Albon on Valtteri Bottas, making up a place at the start. Maybe that's Max Verstappen ahead of Bottas, then comes Albon, and then Carlos Sainz as well. Vettel is really going for it with Hamilton. Carlos Sainz almost gets a little bit squirrely coming out of turn 3. Hamilton fighting Sebastian Vettel.
Hamilton's going to be under pressure with the sheer speed of the Ferrari through the flat kink of turn 6 into the braking turn 7, and he goes to the inside. He covers the apex of the corner. Critical for Hamilton.
The Ferrari speed is giving Lewis Hamilton a lot to think about. Vettel's coming back at him again. Hamilton defending for all his life on this opening lap. Then Verstappen ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Alex Albon as well. Look at that. Charles Leclerc flying out in front. You can't restrain him here in Singapore tonight.
Hamilton got great drive off turn 9 though, and that gave him a bit of breathing space back to Vettel.
I have a puncture.
Copy.
Yeah, Hulkenberg crashed into me, I think.
So Sainz is taking a normal racing line. Hulkenberg's just arriving on the scene at the wrong time for him. Daniel Ricciardo's trying to do something about overtaking, and this is Lance Stroll on the outside at turn 7, and that's Daniel Ricciardo with another position gain there. Nice move.
We're no around now. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's get a boy.
Okay, Daniel clearly in a racy mood, but yeah, the top 13 all lapping within half a second, which we never see in another race. Now, if we got a safety car and the leaders came into pit, all of a sudden the likes of Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Gasly would be in the lead of the race. The leaders have to really hope that they don't get an early safety car at this stage in the next 7 or 8 laps.
Right, on board with Daniel Ricciardo, who's now caught up to the back of Danny Kvyat. He's not thinking about going slow at the moment. He's got the bit between his teeth, and he wants to go for it at places you don't normally see cars getting past. Now, we've seen Felipe Massa on the bridge get past Bruno Senna before. Can Daniel Ricciardo do the same on Kvyat? No, he can't. Waiting in the back there to try and pick up some scraps is Lance Stroll. They nearly had to pick up scraps of carbon fibre. He somehow avoided going into the back of the Renault, who's going to go down the inside of Danny Kvyat at turn 14. Nicely done. Stroll gets a good exit as well out of that turn, and Kvyat's lost 2 places in 1 corner. Here goes Perez on Danny Kvyat. Last lap he lost 2 places at this corner. He might just lose a place here if Perez can get some decent traction out of turn 14. The corner's going to come up soon under braking. Perez dives down the inside.
Bold.
Nice. Perez is ahead of Danny Kvyat up into 14th place. Down the inside once again, Sergio Perez, but unlike the incident with Danny Kvyat, Perez can't get past the man in front on this occasion. Is he going to go for it at turn 18? He is! Well, I think Kubica gave him enough room to make sure he could get past without damage to both cars there, and now Kvyat on the inside forces Kubica to back off before there's any contact. And he defended a little bit harder against the Toro Rosso than he did then against the Racing Point. But that, once again, experience and self-preservation from the pole.
Kubica under siege. That was for 16th, 17th and 18th positions.
Yeah, but you never know what it might be for later on in this race. We haven't had a safety car yet.
Vettel pits. And away, that was a quick stop from Ferrari, wasn't it?
Well, 3 seconds he was stationary. Verstappen 2.3 seconds. So they gained 7/10 on Sebastian Vettel in that particular pit stop, and it's the hard compound tyre that has gone onto the Red Bull, and it's the hard compound tyre onto the Ferrari as well. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg, inside line of course for the pit lane exit. Vettel is ahead of Hulkenberg, but Verstappen is not. That's bad news for Red Bull.
Let's undercut him.
Vettel's in some nice clear air. So he's actually going to... They'll have to cover Vettel off with Leclerc, otherwise he's got to pit this lap, Leclerc. Vettel's got space, he's got to pit.
He's been told over the team radio, Martin, mode box, and Lewis has asking for the undercut, as you just heard. So I think they're both coming in. They're not both coming in. Lewis Hamilton told over the team radio, opposite to Leclerc. So Mercedes are deciding they're going to stay out for at least one lap extra to see if that actually gets them ahead of Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, it'll be very close between Leclerc and Vettel.
Has Hamilton got enough life in those tyres to really hit hammer time
So close.
and
Look
get
at
out
these two.
ahead
Look
of
at
Vettel?
these two.
Well, Vettel's going to get ahead of Leclerc here, and he is.
I thought he would. I don't think Vettel's pit stop was that slow.
Leclerc's going to be fuming at that then.
We need to push as much as you can.
Yeah, but what the hell? I mean,
Lewis might have done a 47.0. Vettel's just done a 45.4.
Yeah.
In which case, that is Lewis Hamilton way behind Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton stops. Giovinazzi now leads the Singapore Grand Prix. You can see the Ferraris in the distance and Max Verstappen coming round the final corner. 2.4 seconds in the stationary zone. It's not even close. He's miles behind, but is he ahead of his teammate Valtteri Bottas? I think he should come out just ahead of Bottas, but the gamble might not have paid off there. As Alex Albon goes wide, trying to put pressure on Valtteri Bottas. As Sebastian Vettel goes down the inside of Pierre Gasly, this could be contact. Gasly is forced off the track there as Sebastian Vettel was coming through, whether the Frenchman wanted it or not. And Vettel has put himself now up in the second place. He wasn't going to hang around there, and there is Max Verstappen ahead of Lance Stroll. So Verstappen moves up into sixth place. Oh, and that could have been very, very bad for both drivers there. Gasly getting out of the way just in time before there was major contact. This is Antonio Giovinazzi, something he has never seen before in Formula One. Nobody ahead of him and leading a Grand Prix at the same time. Antonio Giovinazzi passed by Sebastian Vettel, who now leads the race. That looked like a fairly easy overtake, that one. Antonio didn't put up too much of a fight, the Italian against the Ferrari. We're riding on board now with Alex Albon, very nicely done, through turn 5, and he's passed the Alfa Romeo that has been using the medium tyre for the entirety of this race, and he's trying to defend against Daniel Ricciardo, and they contact at turn 7, and Giovinazzi comes off worst, and you hope that there's no damage on either. Giovinazzi now has another Renault right behind him, and Lando Norris, who we haven't mentioned for quite a while, is running in 10th place.
Be impressive if Ricciardo hasn't got right rear puncture or damage. He has. He has.
So Ricciardo, in making the move, it got a little bit too close with Giovinazzi, and he's now dropping back down the field as well, which is a huge shame for a man who's put up some brilliant overtakes so far this afternoon.
Wasn't his finest. That was a bit clumsy, that one.
Let's just have a little look here from Ricciardo's perspective. But he just sees a gap and he goes through it. That's what Ricciardo does.
okay, I have a puncture or something. High speed 14, please. And yes, you have a puncture.
There was space there, but not at the speed Ricciardo was arriving at.
Yeah, it was an opportunist overtake. Giovinazzi has got nowhere to go. Daniel gets some oversteers, he picks up the throttle and kind of punches him off the road. And Leclerc is really punching out some sectors now. He wants to close that gap down to Vettel. He feels he's been robbed through team strategy.
Got a yellow flag, got a double waved yellow in sector 2. As we talk about the potential for a safety car, we have a Williams in the wall, and I think that could be George Russell. Grosjean and Russell tangling. Oh, Russell gets tagged by Grosjean and sent into the wall.
It has to be, for me, at least a virtual safety car or full safety car.
You okay? What are you doing? Yeah, copy. I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry, guys.
Safety car is deployed.
To be completely honest with you, I don't understand at all the undercut, but yeah, whatsoever, we'll discuss after the race. But
Well, the only way, Martin, that Ferrari, I'm sure, can explain the undercut is that they didn't feel that Charles Leclerc could have pitted first and come back out into a gap, but his teammate could have done.
Yeah, no, but Vettel did. Vettel came out into quite a big gap, a gap that Leclerc would have also dropped into.
We're going racing once more here in Singapore. On lap 41, Sebastian Vettel leads from Leclerc, from Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas and Albon, and Hamilton sticking very close to the rear of that Red Bull.
No DRS for 2 laps after a safety car comes in, but Lewis is certainly fancying a jump. He's dropped back a little bit from the Red Bull there.
He has. Can he get a decent slipstream then down Raffles Boulevard? Look at the Ferraris. They're absolutely flying out in front. It was Leclerc at the start, it's Vettel at the restarts on this occasion. Here goes Hulkenberg and Stroll. Stroll's got the inside line though on Hulkenberg, who switches round, wants to get decent traction coming out of that corner and does so. Hulkenberg ahead of Stroll.
Norris maintaining his place there in 7th, as best of the rest after the top 3 team, the big 3. He's got just
Alex. It's a big lock up there by Lance Stroll, and he's got Antonio Giovinazzi with him, and he's got damage. He's got a puncture, has Lance Stroll. Stroll's got a puncture and he's limping home. Let's just have a quick look here. He's got Gasly on his outside. So there's the tyre banging that was going on. But that is not going to give you a puncture on the front left.
It's kind of fair enough, that one. Good hard racing. So where has he clouted the front left? Could have been a slightly earlier. Obviously got wing damage as well. So suggests a firmer contact, doesn't it?
So Hulkenberg. We'll see that Gasly's got a bit of DRS, but he's got pace, hasn't he, over that Toro Rosso as Hulkenberg, and don't count him out of a decent points finish here. Now we get to turn 8. This is where Grosjean went into the back of George Russell. The stewards are looking at that incident. This time Hulkenberg and Gasly manage to avoid each other, and somehow Pierre Gasly manages to stay ahead of that Renault as well. This is a brilliant scrap going on, and you can see how the rest are catching up behind Danny Kvyat, and then Giovinazzi, and then Daniel Ricciardo.
This is over World Championship points, isn't it? There's World Championship points available to everybody. Magnussen, Raikkonen, Perez, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, even Ricciardo.
They could all go for it now. Sergio Perez, what's happened to the Racing Point? Perez going very slowly indeed, and this looks like mechanical trouble for the Mexican. As one Racing Point hits the wall and suffers a puncture, 2 laps later the other Racing Point slows down and comes to a stop. The gap between the leader and his teammate, 9/10 of a second. Vettel and Leclerc. We have got a safety car.
And for the restart we do shock 7 again. That will help.
I want everything. Even engine mode.
Charles, we need to bring the car home, Charles. We need to manage the PU and bring the car home.
Yeah. I won't do anything stupid. It's not my goal. I want us to finish 1-2. I just think it's not fair. But yeah, this won't change. I won't be stupid, don't worry.
Over the line and into the first corner we go, and looking a little bit further back, Pierre Gasly had a look on Kimi Raikkonen, Danny Kvyat had a little look as well on Nico Hulkenberg, and they stream now towards turn 5, and Sebastian Vettel building a nice buffer. Valtteri Bottas is right on the tail of his teammate Lewis Hamilton as well, and Charles Leclerc is going to get frustrated because he hasn't got close enough to Sebastian Vettel on this straight to mount a challenge. Verstappen goes through, Hamilton and then Bottas.
Mercedes look a little bit stronger on this restart.
Down the inside goes Danny Ricciardo on Kvyat. And has he, by the time they get to the chicane, run out of room? Yes, he has, and Romain Grosjean might say thank you very much here as well as we head over the Anderson Bridge. Grosjean on the outside, Ricciardo on the inside. Ricciardo pushes Grosjean a little bit wide. They make contact, but Grosjean manages to get through. Here's Kevin Magnussen and Pierre Gasly going into turn 14. Gasly's ahead, Hulkenberg's ahead. Magnussen's lost 2 places in 1 corner. Happened to Danny Kvyat a bit earlier on. Carlos Sainz now racing with Daniel Ricciardo, and Sainz has got ahead of Ricciardo with Lance Stroll right behind the Australian.
That bold overtake into turn 10's cost Ricciardo 3 places in the end.
Kimi Raikkonen's under pressure once again from Kvyat. Kvyat's going to have a go into turn 1. Oh dear.
Broken suspension.
That is Kimi Raikkonen out of the Grand Prix. And whether he saw him coming or not, there was no room by the time he put a little left hand down.
Come on, just turn on me. Unbelievable. Car downwards, I think.
I just don't think that Kimi was expecting it.
The outcome for Kimi Raikkonen is that he's retired for the race, and for the first time in 2019.
Feel something weird with the did was something gearbox. I had a false neutral just before the restart.
Copy, Nico. Keep focused.
Oh, poor old Nico Hülkenberg. He's another that's had a really good race, as well as Carlos Sainz under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, and then Danny Kvyat, and then Lance Stroll, because they're going to keep scrapping right to the end as well. And yes, as you said, two Hasses. We've got Romain Grosjean right behind his teammate Kevin Magnussen, and the stewards are going to look at the Raikkonen and Kvyat incident after the race. Carlos Sainz, what is he running at the moment, down in 13th place, and is he managing to get past Kevin Magnussen? Down the inside goes Carlos Sainz. He might still be on for a point in this race, you know, Carlos Sainz. From absolutely nowhere, the safety cars have helped him, and Magnussen's lost out to Daniel Ricciardo, who's getting his elbows out down at turn 18 as well. That safety car restart's cost Kevin Magnussen. He's lost all the temperature in his tyres, and he's got absolutely no grip. It's been a long time coming for Sebastian Vettel. For the first time in 2019, Sebastian Vettel takes the checkered flag and wins the Singapore Grand Prix. And a win that, unlike in Canada, will stand this time around.
Yes, Sebastian, P1, nice job. 1 and 2 for Ferrari. Awesome job, well managed.
And it is the 5th time that Sebastian Vettel, in car number 5, has stood on top of a cockpit here in Singapore as the race winner. It's a race win that's been a long time coming, and well worth the wait as far as he's concerned.
Very happy, great race. I think first of all, big congratulations to the team. Obviously, the start of the season has been difficult for us, but the recent weeks, I think we started to come alive. So really proud of everyone's work back home.
And Ferrari are coming on strong in the second part of this season. Charles Leclerc had led the challenge. Tonight, though, in Singapore, the winning smile is on the face of Sebastian Vettel, back on top of the podium for the first time since Belgium last year. It's good to see him back.